Love is important. Love one another.
What's good? Salute to my listeners, salute to my comrades behind enemy lines, and welcome to the State Raised Session. I'm your host, K-Rob. You know what it is. Every week we're here choosing our path to liberation while hosting this informative dialogue highlighting America's systemic issues and the importance of a unified race state. Let's get it.
This is yours truly, Almighty God, Supreme, represent the State Raised. Y'all know what's up with us?
Yeah. On this eye-to-eye session, we're chalking it up with Lefty-Capikú, founder and CEO of GryndHouzMusik, originally from PR, Puerto Rico. He currently holds residency in Miami, known for his artistry, engineering, production, and in my eyes, you can't forget the cat's freestyle. Here's my conversation with Lefty-Capikú.
What's good? We here today. This is the State Raised Session. The eye-to-eye segment, everybody knows what it is, man. It doesn't get no more realer than where we're sitting and who we're sitting with. A long time comrade of mine in the game, been doing this for some time. Lefty-Capikú on deck himself, man. Thank you for being with us, man, and welcome to the State Raised Session.
You know, it's definitely
this eye-to-eye means a lot to us.
You know. And I just want to give y'all a shout out for what y'all doing, man. That's something a lot of people don't step up. You know what I mean? This is what these type of platforms are about. You know what I mean? Stepping up and giving people a voice and a stage to actually,
no doubt,
express themselves.
No doubt. All right, well that's what's up. Well, it's also a platform for us to zoom in with amazing people like yourself.
Thank you.
Your work ethic since day one. When I crossed paths with you, it stood out, and I was soon to come to know and find out that you was a very serious artist and a very serious person when it came to the art and your movement. So, looking at your movement and seeing your journey, I said, why not? You know, it's only right for us to cross these paths. You know what I mean, and make sure we play part with this. But I thank you for being with the State Raised community, and this is what it is. So on the relaxed side of things, the State Raised Session, it's not just a voice for one community, it's a voice for humanity. And what I believe is this, like, humanity has a lot of fucking problems today. There's a lot of problems that we don't see as people that we have to address, that we should be more in tune with and be more unified around. So, you know, like a lot of people, I sat back and was like, yo, like, what the fuck? You know, how can I play my part in my choice's path to liberation? You know what I'm saying? Choose your path to liberation. That's our slogan. You know what I'm saying? We've chosen a lot of motherfucking paths, but what about the path to liberation? Because we only hustle because we never had shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? A lot of people in the sauce because, you know, of what it is that we all know from the communities up. Here today, though, what I want to start this out on is give the people a little bit of where you're from and your beginning, you know, journey in life, but in the game of music as well.
Just a brief start. You know, I'm 100% Hispanic. You know, I'm Puerto Rican.
You already know.
I was born and raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And, you know, I had a single mother, and then, you know, we did the whole familiar story. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with it.
Right.
She just came over to the United States just to look for a better life, not only for her kids, you know. And when I was here I came up when I was 8 years old, and when I was 8 years old, man, I came over here. Like I said, I had a single mother. She was working 3 jobs.
Right.
So I was like the head of the household. I used to have to watch over my little sister, you know what I mean? So I didn't have too much time to linger around and not be a kid, but I feel like that's how I got into music, you know what I mean? Because I was so, I had somewhat responsibility. I had to be very responsible as an older brother and as an older son, you know what I mean? So, and then when I came here, you know what I mean, I fell in love with the music. I ended up in Hartford, Connecticut. That's where I started. Shout out to Hartford, man.
Hartford.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
Northeast, you already know what it is.
Yeah, it was just music, man. I linked up with a lot of good artists, a lot of great people. I did a lot of work, you know. I've been
That American culture, was it a shock to an extent? Because what do you remember most about that transition? Was it breakdancing?
We all fall. Those times it was breakdancing, evolving to 90s music.
Okay.
You know, I came up when NWA
had hit. Okay, early 90s and shit.
KRS, Biz Markie, Just a Friend, you know, those type of songs. They might have been out already for a while, but
it was the vibe. That was the vibe.
That was the vibe, and actually did a lot of shows. I had a very, very interesting time. And the thing is, we all come from other countries, and we look at the United States of America as the land of dreams, or as they call it, the American dream, so to speak, quote unquote. So, you know what I mean? Everything is interesting. Everything is interesting to you, and if you're a go-getter, you know, and you like to stay busy, you're gonna go into things and make different moves and different choices that might work for you or might not work for you. You know what I mean? So me coming as a young person, I was writing rhymes at 12 years old.
There you go.
On my wall.
There you go.
My mom was pissed for a while, so I was a lot of times I was a bad jit. Yeah. You know, when I was on punishment, I wrote everything that I had to on the walls. I remember my mom came in one day. There was no space on the wall. Everything was lyrics, rhymes, and everything. You know.
She knew as a mom, because you know as an older person now, he says, my son's gonna be somebody. He's in the direction of something. You know what I'm saying?
I was constantly, back then it was more like, who's gonna paint the walls?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I know deep down inside, she knew it was something coming. You know what I mean?
But she was grinding herself. She like you said, the land of opportunity, where dreams would be fulfilled. She was on the grind herself, like you said, a lot of people came to this country chasing that, man. So on that note, that's definitely an understandable page. My grandmother, she came from Portugal, and it was, you know, a similar thing for a lot of people back then. You know what I mean? And they want to see you flourish. They want to see the best come up out of you and shit. On another angle though, to the music, early in your artistry, like what were some of the things that inspired you? Not just who's some people in the game, but what were some things in the culture that inspired you? You know what I mean? Was it
the form? To me, the music was like a form of communication.
A form of communication.
Like I felt like, especially in our neighborhoods, you know what I mean? When we come from other countries or wherever we come from, you know, for the most part, we come with no money. We come to experience, we come to expand, we come to grow. So, you know, I lived in a lot of poor neighborhoods. I lived in the projects. I lived in a lot of places. And I feel that music was the voice to our communication, because these poor neighborhoods, the community lacked love. They lacked peace. They lacked a lot of things. And I feel that music was like a cure. It was the medicine that kept everything afloat.
Yeah, that was the fucking glue, man.
You know what I mean? I could imagine myself if this world did not have no music. I couldn't even live, honestly speaking.
I mean, back in the days, you had days of block parties and shit when the community would step out with music. And I mean, even if it was a barbecue, you know what I mean? The pulse and the place of the music does have that effect on people. I want to say that, like, I look at artists out here and I see that, man, this artist is in the right lane. But I look 10 years down the line, I say, well, damn, what's he gonna be doing 10 years from now? You know what I mean? You know, where's this shit gonna be? And when I see the world right now, I say, well, damn, how can all these artists and how can the real be connected 5 years from now, a year from now? You know what I'm saying? Where else can we let this shit evolve to? Where else can we take this? And that's these bonds and the loyalty of the art, of the music, using it as a vehicle, but transferring this into a voice, a pulse, which, you know, it keeps going. You have it becomes a mentorship, because real G's always show up to the round table, man. You know what I'm saying? One thing we're a sucker for is real talk.
Real talk.
You know, and when you got the wisdom being passed down, handed down, blessed down, it's like we taking heed, we listening, and following the script, following the rules. So, in the place where Staterazed acknowledges artists like yourself, man, I feel like as people, as men, but within the culture, people that rep this music hard like yourself, I believe we need to take it to that next level, where we combine cultures, where we combine these neighborhoods. Why can't we host an event in a neighborhood we ain't never even been in before? Do the block party, you know, from the city permits down, you know what I'm saying? And with that comes all the necessity, you know, the necessary things for communication between people, you know? Whether it involves the entrepreneurship between people and communities, or the basic necessities of life, food, clothing, and shelter. You can never go wrong with these things in people. You know,
and like you said earlier about, you know, I see like humanity it's one of our biggest problems. We can't get aside from ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So you having a connection with something, you need to apply yourself, and not only that, you need to also, you know.
Go ahead, you good.
You also need to live, learn, and you also need to pass it on. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
So, you know, with the music, it was just, you know, evolving from the breakdancing and the MCing and all that good stuff. Got into the actual, back then they used to call it wordsmith.
Okay.
Everybody used to write the actual rhymes and stuff like that. So, and my mom knew I was dedicated because I got my first deal at 16.
At 16.
I had a group called 3 Scoops. Shout out to 3 Scoops, my man Lil Hack, my man Bodega Chip.
And what state was that at? That was Connecticut?
Yeah,
all right.
I was in Connecticut. You know, we didn't know no better. Young kid, 16, probably sophomore in high school. You know, something like that. And then, you know, our parents had to sit in with us because we was underage. So we signed a bunch of contracts and we did some work. We ended up working with those people for like 2 years, you know what I mean? And then from there, I just went to group, you know, I worked with various groups, and then I ended up working on my own, you know what I mean? Because that's one thing I could tell people, everybody doesn't have the same path at the end of the day, but your path is your path, you know what I'm saying? So, and unfortunately, everybody can't go. So if they don't have that
Definitely.
or they're not 100% backing you or with you or see your vision like you see it,
yeah,
you know, it becomes, no hard feelings to nobody, but it becomes like that.
Motherfucking rain. So what we got here today is rain.
Yeah.
So you already know we in Miami.
Yeah.
We talking about this rain and shit. You know what I mean? So, let's get down to fucking business. Hey, you could burn out here?
Yeah, I got a joint right here.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Handle business first, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll make sure it be cool.
You
You burn with the cam joint on?
Huh?
You burn with the cam?
Yeah, we good, man.
Oh, bet, okay.
So everybody knows that this is that this is a podcast, and this is what we do. And with this podcast, taking it to not just individuals but to different communities, and being able to set up and produce what the community needs. These three things: the food, clothing, and shelter is automatic. So we do that through resources, whether it's nonprofits, whether it's, you know, the independent front, private sector, whatever it is. But to be able to provide that to people and see people seeing this live out in the flesh through the artists that are involved, through the artists setting the tempo, you know, knowing that it takes that same sacrifice to move this shit, you know what I mean? It makes that difference. Staterazed is spelled R-A-Z-E-D, to level, to raise, to tear down. So I believe we need a new conscious state where as men, as warriors in our communities, as entrepreneurs and survivalists, we can take the chips and put them on the table and build communities of our own, more self-sufficient. You know what I mean? And these past 2 years have been enough for everybody to tap in and realize something new and learn something about this systematic shit that's going on, you know, that shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, that's definitely facts. And at the end of the day, like I said, I feel people need to take their advantages, whether it's platforms, their voice, or whatever advantage they think they have, and always look back. Always look back.
How do you feel about the prison industrial complex?
I'm not a stranger to it. I did a lot of time when I was when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Part of the other part of the juvie, man.
So I did a lot of time, but I actually took my time to rehabilitate. My shirts are set it off.
For sure.
Shout out to Finito, man. He's the new Justice shirts. Y'all
The Finito clothing brand.
Yeah,
believe that.
Finito clothing line. Y'all better go check that out. FinitoLifestyle.com. As you can see, the Lady of Justice is blind.
Right.
Just like Justice is. I always felt that about the system, in or out. When I was incarcerated, I actually took it upon myself to actually gain more knowledge. I actually went to the law library. I became a jailhouse lawyer. I was helping a lot of
legal
inmates.
beagle.
Yeah, I was helping a lot of inmates because at one point I was in there for 18 charges. And I didn't even know I had a $500,000 bond. I didn't know what the charges was. So I actually got in tune with mine. I said, you know what, I need to know what is the charges. After I did the law library, while I was going through court back and forth before I got sentenced, I got 14 charges dropped. So I ended up doing time for 3. But if I didn't do my research and stayed on top of my lawyer, I probably would have been doing 7 or 8 flat, you know what I mean? So as far as the system, man, shout out to everybody locked up, man. Keep your head up and don't take it for granted because it's not forever. And at the same time, use your time wisely to rehabilitate yourself, man. That's the best thing, the best advice I got for you.
And you heard it there from a source that been behind the wall, been behind enemy lines. What a lot of people don't understand really how it all goes down behind enemy lines, because you just like out here, you got choice, and some people get caught up in the web where they never freedom seers. You go there, you pull up in that bitch doing a couple years, and you lose good time. Next thing you're picking up another charges, and they're quick to take it from you, and just line you up for indefinite, you know. So you go in and like I believe like when you go in there, whatever you do on the street, that's a reflection of the crowd and the people you're gonna move with. If you're about getting money on the street and you selling dope, you're gonna be getting them VI packages come through. You're gonna, your money's gonna be tight. You're gonna be making moves, just planning for when you come home, take over. You know what I mean?
You're a stand-up guy.
Anywhere. If you banging in there. You know what I mean? But when you're a realist, and I say we were speaking about before how whenever you can go to one neighborhood to the other neighborhood to another and still have face, you know what I'm saying? You're welcome and everything's corazón. It's like, yo, that's real talk. And not everybody got that. You know, they legends in their own neighborhoods and whatever, but you ain't loved over here, you ain't understood over here.
There's nothing better than that certification, man. That certification. And, you know, when you hood certified and you can go anywhere because you're not that, you're never scared or nothing like that. It's just you know where you came from. You appreciate it.
Definitely.
So you know.
Up there, it matters. It matters because everybody got to sit at a table in the mess hall. Everybody has to walk a walk. So, behind the walls, what my point was, damn, I almost slipped on my point. All right, behind the walls though, when you're able to bob and weave like that, and you got that background, you're playing different lanes until because you get money on the street, you handle your business on the street, you're a jack of all trades. So what ends up happening to these realists, right?
Exactly.
You end up sacrificing yourself because shit is so real in there for the causes. whether it's against the 5-0, and that's what it was for me.
I don't blame it on nobody.
Stay
but
in the hole.
Like the direction that before you even get incarcerated, I feel is lack of knowledge in school, just because the playing field before the incarceration is always set up.
It's always set up for to get caught, right?
You understand what I'm saying? So it's definitely how you want to do, you know, it has to do a lot with maturity, how mature you are, you know, because if they catch you when you were in jail or whatever the case is, you know, a lot of times I went back to jail 10, 12 times between 16 and 18. You know, and then when I got older, that's when I started realizing that's when it actually started hurting.
But as a jit though, you ain't worrying about going to juvie though.
Don't worry.
That was the poison, right?
That's what I'm.
This is where I'm about to go. This is where I'm about to go. It was,
you know, I'm on the 3 extra draws.
Yes.
4 extra pairs of socks.
Yes. It was like I'm going up the way. I'm going up the way. So I asked that question about the penal system, but now we can dive, you know, head first into what it all represents and where it stems from. So you were obviously in juvie and went through that sauce before the county and the state and all the other shit. And what my thing was, it's a system that's fed. It's fed, and everything out here in our communities is lined up, you know, like you said, and like you were making a point, and how you're an example of for the young youth to take that ride. To take that ride, get that first one under your belt, and after that, they sending you up after that. Commitment to DY, right?
In the system.
You're in the system. There were any times, I know there were times along this journey that you've been on between the juvenile and adult system, saying, when did it dawn on you to say, yo, I can manifest more than this? Because remember, we're out there looking up to the superheroes on the block. Those are our superheroes. Not Hulk, not Spider-Man. As much as I love Hulk, you know, it was the motherfucker pulling up in a nice whip that had a name on the block, that had face. That was my superhero. That's what I want to be like.
And then, you know, I kind of like moved around, man. I was a go-getter. I lived in Hartford, Connecticut most of my life for about maybe 20 plus years. But then after that, I lived in Puerto Rico. I lived in New York. I moved up to New York. I live in Brooklyn. Shout out to New York.
I did something with it.
All day.
I done already lost your shit. See? Yeah. Even when you're on the lens, remember that? As soon as you light that shit up, you're like, yo, fam, who got my lighter? Who got my shit? Oh, man, I misplaced that. My bad, go ahead, though.
I'm from CT. I moved up to the city, you know, I was out in Brooklyn for a while. I was out in Far Rockaway, Queens.
Okay.
Shout out to Queens, shout out to Brooklyn. I lived uptown Harlem, Amsterdam, Spanish Harlem, you know what I mean?
All in there.
All in there, and then, you know, after that, this is when I really moved out here, moved out to Miami.
Yeah.
Been here ever since, man, 305.
And the music game, you know what I'm saying, anybody that's listened to your music, they know the passion in what you drop and the dedication in your artwork and shit. But who were some of the people that influenced you, man, when you were stepping out with the music back in the days?
The people that gave me that confidence, that said, man, you know what, fuck this, I can rock just like these niggas.
Yeah.
I was a Cool G Rap.
Cool G Rap. There you go.
You know what I mean? EPMD, Bradman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm from that
era. Great influences.
You know, I'm from that era. And then a little later on down the line, you know, Capone Noriega, Mobb D.
All the classics,
Effects, you know what I'm saying?
Dawes Effects.
Slick Rick, The Ruler.
All the classics.
KRS, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I grew up on that.
Right.
Ain't no better influence than that.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you see, it just kept getting better and better. You know, Big came out, Jay came out. You know, it was a rap after that, man. So those were my biggest influences.
And that explains a lot. It explains a lot, especially the grind and the workflow, man. I wanted to make sure that we got you on the show for a lot of reasons. Being able to keep that home base there, being able to always be in tune with where you're from, is definitely a note to say you know where you're going. It's an individual that knows where they're going. That's why I'm here, because as men out here in the game, we're going through a lot of changes because the world is changing. You know what I mean? And warriors and men that are warriors, I feel we need this new unification where it can not just bring us together, because people have been talking peace forever, but it can bring us together economically.
We have to set the example, not the panic.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it boils down to, because a lot of people, you know how it is, you know how it was, you know, probably like 10, 20 years ago, you know what I mean? We ain't know no better. You know, the first thing that came through the door, the first thing that had to get done had to get handled, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There wasn't no thinking about it, no in buts and babies, you know what I mean? So now when you're actually a little more mature and you know there's consequences behind everything, you kind of dissect things a little better.
Of course,
you know
right.
what I mean? So we just have to be the example that where there's a will, there will always be a way, and not to panic. Not to panic, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to panic. They're gonna, like I said before, they're gonna keep throwing wrenches, hammers, whatever the fuck they could throw at us, they're gonna throw at us. You know what I mean? But it's our job to know there's a bigger purpose out there.
All right.
And we don't need to panic.
What you think about this? One of the things I noticed with this whole past year and a half and everything, with everything that's been on the news, whether it's from the city's on fire, Georgia's incident, the political side of things with this, you know, changing in Washington and all that shit. One thing that I noticed in all this was like everybody had some type of face or had some identification. You seen everything became transparent, but in this transparency, I didn't see the people that I told firearms with, that I hustled with, people that I got up and had to figure it out with every day, because we rely on a different trade, a different lifestyle, right? So I speak to the hustlers, I speak to the grinders, I speak to the motherfuckers out there putting in work, heinous work that's not right, heinous work that we've been putting in on each other for eons, right? I speak to the Staterazed and say, everybody's up there talking about the work we put in, talking about so many different reflections of the lives we live, and we don't even have a voice.
We don't even have a voice. And I feel we can create one, because if you know the United States, just like I know the United States from being here so long, is like they thrive on attention. They always want attention. They need that special attention. I just feel this last year and a half, they kicked it up.
It's on a whole
5-6 notches. It's on a whole other. They done turned this. You can't even turn the motherfucking nozzle no more.
It seemed like it started with 9/11 though, the illusion
and
of
then
shit.
they have shit happening periodically, but this last year and a half, with all the innocent bystander killings and the pandemic and all this shit. Nah, man, they took the cake. So it's the same way for a brother from the hood to be like, you know what? They're not worried about me, so I'm not worried about them. So it goes back to we have to train ourselves differently and stop thinking that way. You know what I mean? We have to stop being like, okay, it's somebody else's fault that we in this situation or we in this predicament. No, everybody can grow the same way. Some might have a rougher or tougher path than others, but there will always be light under the tunnel. You know what I mean? So if we train ourselves differently, and the same way we on the block and we getting money, we got to do for ourselves. We got, our families got to eat. It's the same way you have to think about that. If you don't start feeding into what's going on in your community, what's going on in the world, you know what I mean? It's not only going to jeopardize your future, it's going to jeopardize your kids' futures. You know what I mean? And it sounds hard, and it's hard to digest and to stomach, because I'm a person towards my own. You know what I mean? I don't like to get in other people's business or whatever. So, but at the same time, it's a humanity necessity. It's not just one person that's done it. It's everyone.
It's a broader look,
it's
man.
It's a broader look, and if everyone plays or comes together and actually lends a hand like you're supposed to, you'd be surprised how much more you can do, man.
So you got so many people out there. That's a proven point right there.
Yeah.
That angle of looking at it like that is 100 all day. For the people though that will say, that will make the point that, oh yeah, this come together, you know, what would you have to say to that? Because shit ain't always flying, and why we know, because there's so much conflict. So in order to have even a chance at it, I believe you got to be able to jump in the middle of the conflict. You got to be able to be on the face, in the sauce with everybody else to even begin to have a chance at starting this. But what would you say to the people that say, all right, well, you saying it, but how do we do this? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so basically what you have to do is you have to form a team, and everybody has to have the same vision. You know what I mean?
One vision, huh?
One vision. One vision.
Y'all hear this shit? One vision.
You know what I'm saying? It could be 30, 50, 100 people, but if everybody's looking at the same prize, listen, a bulldozer can't move that wall of people. You understand what I'm saying? So it's all about and the will to want. That's another thing. You know, don't come in here trying to see like you know, like you're gaining something from it. No, you're just lending a hand, and that's how you have to see it. You have to see it like you're giving back to you and yours.
And passing the fucking torch.
Everybody, not just one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just for yourself. You know what I mean? So you have to have that vision, and you have to have a couple of, you know, few good men, strong, you know, and once you build that foundation, everybody will have a different way of expressing themselves as far as how to bring more people in.
It's good to hear your perspective on that, because I know you've been through some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anybody that's been, you know, lucky enough to be in your circle, you know, knows that you put in your time with it. So to hear that, it means a lot to my ears personally, because I'm personally on a mission. And people like you are the hope. And everything you do, you plant seeds, you inspire. When it's that early morning walk and it's like, yo, what up, everybody, you know, Facebook Nation, man. And it's like, what were you saying? Breathe. You guys gotta take a breath. Breathe. You know, these are places where we connect.
Yeah,
and
wake up suffocated.
You know, them are places where you connect. When you can connect like that, then there's authenticity. You know, it's authentic. You know, it's and that's that. I believe that's what allows it all to even start. You know, but you gotta be out there in the sauce, man. But yeah, thank you for putting that out there, yo.
Oh, man, thank you, man. But I appreciate that. It's like I said, you know, you do it like wholeheartedly, and you know, and you just do it. A lot of the times, it's a message for myself and everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not just like I'm just giving people messages or stuff I'm not familiar with, I'm not aware. It could have been a situation I went through.
Yeah.
And I learned how to breathe through it. You know what I mean? And then I pass it on to the next person. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that they don't have to go through what I went through. So if I can avoid that, you know, it's always a good thing, man.
Definitely.
And it's about inspiring people, man.
At the end of everything, not to switch lanes, but I definitely want to ask you about some of the latest projects that you're working on.
Word.
Because I was that Panda thing back in the days when you had first put me on to that. I was that's okay, and then I opened up your door to this, you know, shit you're touching, and I'm like, man, this super creative, you know, Flamers Flow.
Yeah.
A couple of these joints with freestyles and shit on them, like,
Yes, sir.
Where did this energy come from, man?
I feel it's something that I always enjoy doing, and if you notice, and a lot of people in the industry do it more often. And it's to me it's
that cardio.
It's like the cardio, yeah. It's that lyrical
calisthenics.
Test, you know what I mean? The calisthenics. I'm like, you know what? You have to stay in shape. You know what I mean? You can't just work out Monday and Friday and expect, you know what I mean, to see results. You know what I mean? So you got to do that in between work. So while I'm doing songs and actually coming up with albums or mixtapes or whatever the case is, you always got to throw. And another thing is to know it's to stay relevant and actually to let people know, like, you know what I mean, any way you want it, you know what I'm saying? It's not just gonna be I don't only do songs, I don't only, you know, and when I do songs I try to be as creative and diverse.
Bars is back.
Bars is back. That's one of my joints.
That was Maniac sick shit, man. Like, when I identified it, I said, oh no, that's the other level shit, right? And I says, like when you first heard the Cool G, you know, the shit that makes your ears go up, makes your hairs go up. And I says, like a lot of people, they have this gift. I says, man, how can we take this energy, you know what I'm saying, and manifest it in this direction? The fire is real. It can't be duplicated. It's yours. You own it. We all have our individual sparks. In your case, I heard it and I'm saying, damn, what's next for Left?
That was a freestyle that I made a song.
But you know the freestyle, when you catch it like that, you feel it from the heart. Like you can see your words, you're like talking.
Exactly. You know, that's one of them that, you know, I really fell in love with, and that's one of my quickest ones that I learned.
Ill is alive. Ill is alive.
Ill is alive.
What was up with that one?
I took people on a trip. I had to make them understand that, you know what I mean? You have to put your title, whatever you want to be. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to be, you got to put that stamp on it. You can't let nobody stamp you, because they'll stamp you for whatever the fuck they want.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So me doing Ill is Alive, I felt like, you know, I'm still untouchable, man. I still, you know, when I spit, is a different vibe, is a different feel. And I feel that's my bread and butter. You know what I mean? I could do some like I said, I do many things, but I feel like, and right now I'm testing the waters more, but I feel like original bar for bar hip hop, and you give me that beat behind there.
So if you can equate that to anything else in the physical realm, what would it be? If you can manifest that into anything positive in the physical realm, what would it be? A full line of Capikú credit cards for people in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Because that's because exchange of resource has to happen to the people.
That's different.
You know what I'm saying? Or a whole just start building new housing complexes across the United States with Left's stamp on it.
That energy, and not only that, I do the remodeling and stuff part too, so it would definitely have my stamp. You know what I'm saying?
I know you're fucking.
I also would do motivational speaking. I like doing motivational speaking just to give back and give people free training. Mental health is a serious issue, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
So, you know, just give people free training on that. And what I always wanted to do, man, like I said, open up these boys clubs, these rec centers, you know what I'm saying? You got a little recreation area, you got a little kitchen area, you know what I'm saying? You got a basketball court, you know, and you provide them with different classes and different academic programs and stuff, so they can actually do their thing, learn after learning. Even if the schools by that time still don't do no financing, I would like to have like a financing course, because that's what we lack, especially when we.
It's under the not to segue into something, because I'm on. Damn man, this is where. Let's see if I can remember. Well, let me follow it with you, because that was a great point. We lack the financial education, this this knowledge that a lot of people have when it comes to economics and how this country works, you know, inside and out, the way, you know, the value of your dollar and shit. Those classes need to be taught. Also, it's about living, and this is where, I mean, I had some ideas with HUD housing, and they do facilitate some programs in underprivileged communities and try to get people to buy houses, but people don't even know these programs exist. Last week I attended one, and for the umpteenth time, you know, it's not a lot of people, you know, but the reality of it is that it's like, hold on, you could put down 3%. You know what I'm saying? And now you don't have to put down 3% because coming to the class, you just got 7,000. So right out the gate, you're 7,000 on deck. Just by coming to the class, you get your grant for $7,000. And then from there, it's just about sitting down with the lender and seeing how much you're approved for. It's not about if you're approved, it's about how much. So they have programs that give you 80 grand. They have programs that give you like this $80,000 for one of them. The other one's another like 25,000 for some other shit. And they stack them and you put them together and you end up like a good 200 fucking racks, 190, 180 racks. And you ain't even putting no money on the table and you're about to buy a house. I said, how come the fucking people in the hood don't know about this shit? And the program will be sitting right there. So you're right, the education is important, and that's why with a movement like how you're breaking down that type of movement and that dedication, you can provide that, because under these tents, you're able to hand that literature off and say, listen, and you don't have to always know the knowledge. How I look at it is, you're gonna bring in the experts. Because when I went to the HUD class, I seen a lot of people knew what the fuck they were talking about, and their speakers, they come and they're on the clock, they're in and out. I said, let me just make contact with some of these people, so down the line, this is the blueprint, you know what I'm saying? Take your knowledge, bring it over here, let's facilitate this move, boom. So in our case, people like you and I that might not have 25 years in the real estate industry, or you know, whatever it is, it's making sure the right people are taking that responsibility too, and they can play their part, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's good that you seen it. I don't mean to go on so long on the point and shit, but
no worries,
that's a very fucking good point. You gotta involve the people in the education of what has to be done and how it's a new way of living.
Yeah, because what's going on now, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people learning the game, and then they want to sell it back to you.
Sell it back to you.
You know what I'm saying? And now they're getting rich.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So you want me to pay you so you can tell me how to succeed. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
That shit don't make no sense.
Right.
So unless that's the formula. The formula is, you know, the way that I'm getting so rich is by having you as my client. You know what I mean? Because if I don't have you as a client, then I could just give you the game for free. You know, 7.8 billion people out here. You could look elsewhere for some business. You know what I mean? So at least if everybody helps their circle, and goes a little bit outside of their circle.
Definitely.
The community. You start with your circle, then you start with your community. You know, and then once you're done locally, that's when you expand. You know what I mean?
That's what has to happen. That's what has to happen, and that's what I believe is going to happen. It's in the line of the universe, the universal math. I believe we're living in prophesized times, anyways. So we're on a we're on a set course regardless. So it's about just picking your lane. And knowing where you going. You know, it's definitely a time to get a piece of land and be able to stay the fuck away from people for a little while, but to get your shit right for you know what's to come. Let me just ask you. I want to ask you something else. Well, it's a lot of different angles here, but looking at our contributions for the people that are out there that haven't contributed to these imbalances that we can identify, whether it's the prison prison system, the industrial complex, whether it's the juvenile system, whether it's the poverty issues. For the people out there that do got position, that had position, that maybe were or did influence us as kids, where they sit today, and how do you feel about those people and their lack of involvement? Because I could speak of a few people.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's people need to understand that it's never enough. You know what I mean? I feel a good amount of people are helping, are giving back, but at the same time, it's, you know, if you was to scale that, you could still see that the scale is off balance. Mm-hmm. You know, meaning there's still a lot of work we got to do.
All right, so let's look at the scale of the problems I'm talking about. When you look at the war on drugs, some of the things that crippled our fucking communities, all right? And then some of the people and things that gave shine to it, that added on to it and made it okay. It was cultural things. Music was influential, so we showed a lot of that shit in our music and stuff. But you had trendsetters, people that brought forth things that wasn't there the week before or the month before. Like when people first started using the word nigga, right? I remember, and I was like, I knew this was some sick shit because it wasn't even in the speech. And when I heard NWA, and when that scene came, that's when, like, up north, where we're from, like, that shit was like gang fucking warfare up there at the time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was like murder capitals and shit. The fucking United States was going on at the time. And it was everywhere. But during that time, motherfuckers was invisible, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, the influences, man, let's keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers would have that NWA in a tape cassette, leaning out the window with, you know, putting in work and shit. And as, like you said, as you go through life, we're not blaming nobody for nothing, but this is just the raw, real understanding the psyche, understanding the way the system works and who's playing who. The drugs was put there, the influences was put there, and once you start getting money, they're not just gonna let you have it for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
There will always be an action,
yeah,
and a consequence.
An action and consequence.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
when did Ice Cube figure out, like, all right, you're gonna stay in the game, but when did he figure out, I'm just gonna walk away from this and still benefit from the benefits of being Ice Cube, but I ain't gonna address this work I put in, these nations of kids and people that I swayed to the left and put up in the prison system?
I feel,
you know what I'm saying?
I feel it was, to them, they don't see it like that, because I feel it was...
He can't have a political voice now. He can't have a political voice. He can't be out there because you gotta address the old shit first.
It was a bad time. It was a bad time for them dudes at that time.
Oh, it maybe was.
Central LA.
It maybe was, and we salute them on it. Not to cut you off, fam. Yeah. But this is raw on the real. Where we left off with, as far as the game went, and people that were influencers and bad influences, and not being able to put face on some of their movements and shit and the roles they played. Talking about NWA and Ice Cube and whoever else, you know, but we were on Cube for a second. Cube was just one of them people I felt like, because at the very same time he put in the work to make the transformation in the game as well, because that gangster era was moving behind him, and he was moving forward into other things, the acting, you know, just being able to be accessible on different things of entertainment. And as much as you see him step out on these other parts, he would always enjoy, it seems like, this image of knowing that he's still Ice Cube. You know, and whether it was on interviews, whether on whatever it is, shows, that part of it, I believe there was somewhere in the journey where he was in there, he was supposed to have came full circle and address that, because every day it's online. Every day there's reflections of this shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Your name, your position, your face holds weight, holds power. do you ever see any, you know what I'm saying? Does a motherfucker ever see, you know, any day that where it won't be like that in LA? You know, I don't know how much Ice Cube has his hands in as far as gang prevention or violence prevention or just being able to be one with people's and to step out there face to face on those problems with people putting in work and be like, nah, there's another way. Or like I said, he might do it personally. I might not know. You know what I'm saying? Q, if that's what it is, let a motherfucker know. Because what we do need to do is to connect and touch the younger youth out here, but you gotta do this shit on the face. You gotta do it in the flesh. You got two fucking, you got you had them 3 generations, but you have the youths out here right now, their pops are either dead or incarcerated by the AK and the 9 millies, whatever else it is, but by the AK for Q's sake, and their fathers went through the sauce with the prison, the same shit. So we go back to that year 1990, early 1990s and shit.
Yeah, I just feel like Q and it's a lot of people that have a platform and can actually turn that influence, that negative influence that they had on the world, into something positive. But you gotta understand, Cube around that age when he was coming up, he was going through the struggle. He was going through gang life, and he was a kid with a voice. You know what I mean? Back then, I don't really blame him, because anybody else would have done the same thing, and they just feeding of what they see, what's going on in the surroundings. And as far as now,
that part's understood back in the day. We lived it back in the day. We were eating it.
Full circle,
Right.
Cube has one of the biggest platforms, and he's done Disney movies.
Yes,
he's done a whole bunch of stuff. So my thing is, like you just said, I don't know what he has or what is he involved in his neighborhood or whatever he does. But Cube always had that like. He's always had like that serious face, like tough look, serious face. But to be honest with you, him coming a long way, I wouldn't even call, you know.
Oh no, I just be seeing it.
I call everybody.
Yeah,
Because right now, with the times coming up, these generations had came so far ahead. Now we're not talking about AKs. Now we're talking Dracos, and we talking this and that.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now these eras, like, you know, rest in peace, Smoke. You know what I mean? When that situation happened, and then it goes back to how Chi-Town is, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Very violent, you know, with the whole.
There's a lot of shit been going on there for years,
you know what I mean?
with the life.
I feel the influence continues through the streets, man, and that's where it starts. That's where it starts.
It continues through the streets, and it's funded by certain elements. Like right now, you look at the young ones now, and you look at how they're funded. Look at the digital platforms. Look at everybody who's who, and I'm talking about the young ones. And you got to go into that world. All right, it ain't just ain't no disrespect to nobody young, nowhere in the game. And what the math is that the same poison that we fell to is the same shit that they fell to. Yeah. So we got some shit in common. This is how I feel. Yeah. And amongst my G's, as me being a G, and the younger G's, there has to be this space for unification, but to salute as well. To salute, because what we all do have in common is that we don't just get the same enemy, you know what I'm saying? But for years we've been infected by the same shit.
Same disease.
You know what I'm saying? The same fucking disease. And then you have this mentality of how we live, and how we live, and that's what you was just breaking down. Within the community, you know, you have this consistent turning shit.
It doesn't stop.
It don't.
And wrong is what's popping. You know what I mean?
It's always what's popping.
For as long as I knew, you know, as long as I've been on this world, wrong is what's popping. So until we can switch that 360 and bring it back to good is what's popping. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because a lot of people, you know, gangster to a lot of people is, you know, you're on the block, you got the, you know, you making the most money, you know, a nigga come fuck with you, you know, you the first one to shoot, whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's not gangster, man. Being responsible for your actions, that's gangster. Taking care of family, that's gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Consistency, that's gangster. You know what I mean? Having a drive, self-motivation, that's gangster. You know what I'm saying? Those are
Definitely
certain tools that you need just to live out your life the way you're supposed to.
Right
Like
now,
I said, we be brainwashed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've been brainwashed. So, you know what I mean? We're not only here to give you the game, we're here to tell you that we went through the same shit. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
We just happen to find ourselves, everybody finds themselves at different times, you know what I mean? But the gift is within. You know?
All right. When I first came home, right, right, what I'm trying to say is this: we living in a day and age now where what we just went through and what we're going through now has never happened before as black people. For any people, not just of color, but people of place of poverty, places where people have just been abused. Definitely we know off the rip the Latin and black communities, you know what I'm saying? But there are communities that aren't Latin and black that have tasted the same shit.
That part, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the systemic problem is there, you know what I mean? And to say that just on our forefront, because going back to the point, that's what it was. So we're doing this count now, and everybody's taking responsibility. Everybody needs to stand and take responsibility during these times. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to be able to manifest and bring things together socially, economically, you know, the financial sectors, your block in your neighborhood was your block. You just didn't own all the real estate there. But the day you ever owned the real estate, you and the people from your block would exchange all kinds of fucking resource with her or him from their block. Because it's an exchange of resource. You know what I'm saying? It's an exchange of currency. There's living going on. Yeah. You know, like when they say the Black Wall Street back in the days, and people being able to have a community where they own the business and that money doesn't leave that community and it only sits in the bank in that community. That's power. That's power. That's longevity right there. You know what I'm saying? That's any village. Yeah. We don't have that, but yet we out in the streets with our faces, you know, face down, man. We've been bleeding for years.
Every man is.
So
when you look at people out here, every man's for himself. You know?
Yeah, it's for that.
Every man for himself.
But this is a day and age and a time, though. Going to my question: do you think this day and age and this time is a time where we don't have a choice, more or less, to say like you have to choose some path to liberation?
Yeah, no, there's always a choice.
Right?
People just too stubborn to choose the right choice. You know what I mean? People rather how do I say it?
What? Just don't want to face the reality of it.
Look good and lose than look bad and win. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They rather look good. We lost, no, it's alright, but I look good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of
part of the poison.
You look bad for all the work you put in. Whew, struggle, woo, you sweating.
Right.
What you want.
Right.
You did it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's
for the comrades on lockdown.
It's just stubborn.
Yeah.
It's just stubbornness.
For the comrades on lockdown that are resurrecting, coming home, stepping back out to the free world. Yes, definitely salute.
Take it one day at a time.
What do you think are some of the things that can help people making that transition? I have obviously some blueprints on a few things, but what are some of the things you think that society needs to maybe, you know, harness or maybe need to zoom in on, or maybe some personal things? What do you think that will help in that transition from the community to the person coming home?
Well, from the community to the person coming home is
like you have halfway houses out here, for instance. You know what I'm saying? But that needs to be reformed. That whole shit.
Everything has to be reformed. Halfway houses and society needs to stop looking at these people a certain way because they did a crime.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's why you came home from jail, because you did your time, you pay your debt to society.
Right.
So you already been judged all up and down the block, the tier, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? You come home and be judged the same way. You know what I mean? As far as you coming on your feet, you know, because it's hard enough for somebody to come home from jail and go out back in the workforce and do this and do, you know what I'm saying? Back to getting back into their element. You know what I mean? So society needs to make it a little easier as far as understanding that they just came home and whatever they did was pick. You know, everybody ain't cut out to come home, do a crime, and go right back. You know what I mean? You still got knuckleheads, but you have people that are coming out, they learn their lesson, and they're willing to change. So, you know what I mean? Subject to change comes from the person coming home, but society has to show them that welcoming, that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was all right, you know what I mean? It's okay.
The homecoming.
And then it's all of the person's attitude. Because I came home a bunch of times and they told me, oh, nah, you won't be able to get a job, you got felonies, and I never took no for an answer, you know what I mean? And I had some of the best jobs that, you know what I mean, I never thought I'd be working.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you'd be surprised what you could come home and be capable of. And a lot of time, if it's for you, it's for you. I've been to places where it says right on the application, or they ask me personally, have you ever been convicted of a crime? Yes, I did a felony. Boom, I pay my debt to society, finished probation with flying colors, I'm good. You know? And I got the job. You know?
Yeah, for some people, mentally, they have enough going for them to say, all right, this is how I get the fuck out of this lane and shake this probation or whatever it is. I never did 1 day probation. I knew whenever they let me out, catch me when you can, right? And not that sometimes I didn't think about trying, or people try, right?
Yeah.
But that whole system of things for a lot of people, as you know, is set up for them to fail.
Yeah, no,
right?
It was a setup.
So some people may be coming home and can't even get to the part thinking that, okay, getting a job, because they automatically know that they're gonna be violated for some other shit. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just about time. So it's about what am I gonna do? What I want to do? You know, you have this shit. People with this shit.
Probation is a setup, yeah. Probation
and parole
is a setup.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel if the system, the same way they paid that much attention or put that much mind into probation and parole, they do to like rehabilitation programs,
right,
more workforce programs, so when they come home, prepare these people not only to just go out and get a job anywhere. No, show them computer skills, show them how to build a resume, show them their skills. You'd be surprised what you know, a lot of
see all that gotta be under one roof.
Exactly. I've been locked up, you know, but I don't do nothing. Listen,
so if
anything is a skill. Everything is a skill.
All right, so let's say this. Let's add on, right? So let's both say if they could build a prison, then they can build a place of higher learning, a place to rebound on coming home, like a real version of a halfway house, which will be a place for learning, trade, will be a place for mental health, get your shit right if you got addiction problems, counselors. It'll be shelter. It'll be shelter, not a room, but efficiencies, apartments, houses.
So you start teaching people responsibility. You rent the rooms. Once
in and all, there's a
exactly.
Right.
Then when it's all said and done, and
y'all hear this shit, right? Yo, Left just put the stamp on the newfound motherfucking foundation on New Hope, because it's New Hope because
it's more than just a halfway house. You heard it from Left himself. You know what I'm saying?
Do it, it'll be a teaching.
You just described a community.
Exactly.
A fucking
It's
community,
like an apartment
man.
building.
Right.
You keep 30 apartments or 30 rooms, and you rent them out. You know what I mean? And people, you'll see, they'll grow mentally, especially, and their skill level will be through the roof, man. And they actually can come out here and be prepared. You go to an interview and be scared. You know, you do eye-to-eye interviews. You know, you do all that kind of training.
And then,
before you get in.
and then the pressure sometimes of.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
They get you a cot in a halfway house. You sit and you do whatever the fuck you want to do for the last 60 days you got left, and then they let you out. And then from there, what? You gonna start looking at?
Yeah, and it's not. I think the problem.
No,
One of the
there's a gap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The problem in society though is that it's right and exact the way you laid out, but
they do it on purpose though, because they want that cycle to continue.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
That's why they want. Nah, we're not gonna put the teaching part in between. We're gonna leave that gap there because I know after he leaves, he's gonna fall right back on his face, be right back in the system.
True.
That's what
I mean,
do,
that is a proper fucking.
So sometimes
proper analyze.
You have to take matters into your own hands and say, you know what, they're not gonna teach me, I'm gonna learn.
Let me add on and say this then. We're in this transition that that we have to stand up as individuals that aren't on drugs, that aren't crippled, that aren't incarcerated. We're in it. Do we, as comrades out here, as brothers out here, as old defined niggas out here, step up and meet? You know what I'm saying? Family coming home halfway, and this is how, by creating these communities, just like you're saying.
Yeah.
And whether it's in a non-profit form, whether it's in, independent form, whatever it is, being able to create this community where people can have that grasp and facilitate change, man. And the mentorship that goes along with it is fucking important because you gotta see somebody doing some shit.
The focus is in the teaching.
Yeah, man, you gotta be able to see somebody in the flesh and know what's up. And I've thought about that shit, man, many a times, and that's why, I know we got you on deck and a lot of other warriors and shit, but I thought about many times, it's like, you gotta be able to create a platform that people can live from. It's food, clothing, and shelter. These are the resources of life. So
and also people gotta get out their shell, you know what I mean? A lot of people, when they see eye to eye, face to face, it's like a confrontational vibe, you know what I'm saying? And it's not supposed to be like that. You gotta understand what position you're in, but you also gotta understand the position the other individuals in. And when I say that, to say, especially if it's an individual coming home, when you come home, you gotta understand what that person just went through. You know what I mean? So you being all tough and confrontational, no, it has to be more, like I said before, like a welcoming type of vibe.
Right.
Where you want to get to know the person, and not only that, you want to make them understand that he is somebody, and you've been through it, and you overcame it. So
when you say coming home to something in the financial sector, what it amounts to also is like coming home to not really having to apply for a job. You're coming home to a placement in a company. Why? Because it's community owned. So it's no fear of walking on eggshells with the system and the probation behind you on your feet or none of this dumb shit. It's a welcoming community, like he's saying, but also in real life, because why? You're gonna be working for a company that's in the same community. It's part of your community. It looks like you. A company that walks like you, that looks like you, that talks like you. That's a reflection of something your family, or something you live for. So I don't want to say black owned, but you're gonna say Latino owned. You're gonna say black owned, whatever, Indian owned, whatever owned it is, and you coming home. that's what's up. And if the communities aren't raised and things aren't reformed, then here you got this, like you saying, this continuous cycle. So we're committed to that shit just for the sake of this conversation and this build. And it's good to know that, you know what I'm saying, you have that perspective that you have, because like always, I see you and you're planting seeds, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're always planting seeds, and that's real shit.
Yeah, no, you already know that's what it's about. And let's be clear, man. Everybody doesn't have to be an artist. You can state your talent and you can follow your dreams. Don't get me wrong. But everybody doesn't have to be an artist.
Word.
Do what you do. But at the end of the day, one of the biggest things that you can do and be called a hero is giving back to your community. You know what I'm saying? Being of the people.
Of the fucking people.
You understand what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you come home and because, you know, everybody want to be a rap star and all this and that, but if you come home and you the operation manager for the waste management in your community or whatever the case may be, it's a great deed the same way, you know? As long as you living, you're free and you're enjoying what you do. Love what you do, and people will
choose your path to liberation. You know what I mean? Shit.
That's it.
All right, let's turn the page, man. What are some of the things that you know you are looking forward to with your music and project wise in the future to come? What are some of the things you got on deck?
Like I said,
some things that you're moving on.
I got a lot of, you know, I got music. I dropped 2 singles. Y'all go check out Mafia Style on
Mafia Style,
Spotify.
okay.
And y'all go check out Fame on Spotify and all the digital platforms as well. I just finished the album, Finito 2.
Finito 2.
Yeah, man, great job. It's definitely, it's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be a smash. Shout out to everybody that was involved, our producers, everybody that came out in the videos. You know, I got some heat.
Candela Music, who's that?
Candela Music is my music company.
Okay.
So
Candela Music is putting in work, y'all.
Candela Music.
Get familiar with that shit. Yes, Grindhouse.
Picasso, man. We just go, you know.
What inspired you?
In the best perspective.
What inspired you for the heat of the night? Like where that came? Where that come from?
I'm working on my diversity right now. You know what I mean? Because like you said, I mean, like I said before, I am 100% Puerto Rican, so I do speak.
Definitely.
You know, I speak Spanish.
Right.
So I've been dabbling into my little reggaeton. I've been doing Spanish music. I've been doing Spanish hip hop for a while.
Beautiful culture.
And I've been doing, so what I've been doing that I've seen a lot of people are getting into now is actually mixing the both and doing like Spanglish hits. So I could, you know,
bringing it in.
Really do a lyric in English and then
okay.
have it rhyme in Spanish. And
I liked it, man.
You know what I mean? So, but the heat of the night was definitely. I took a different approach, man, because I wanted to be more laid back, more mellow. I wanted to change the vibe up.
Different surf.
To give y'all something different, you know, but still keep that Caribbean sound. You know what I mean? Shout out to my homie Tonji Music. He was on there, and you know.
Definitely.
That one's a high. Y'all need to go check that out. Check the video, Heat of the Night, on YouTube. My page, Lefty-Capikú.
Capikú himself. Gold Mine Films. You're working on film too?
Shout out to Gold Mine Films. That's actually my shooter, man. He shoots all my videos, all my interviews, everything.
I went through your credits, man, and it's like you're connected to everything, man. Yeah. And I see
We're actually working on a movie. It's coming soon. It's called Capikú.
Okay.
It's the day, and you know.
So the film.
The whole life story.
So we're looking at 2021.
I'm looking at 2023 just to get everything cleared.
Okay.
Yeah. We're definitely working. I've been writing a lot of the dialogue, some of the scripts, so and we'll be ready to shoot, man. And the next 6 to 8 months. So
I looked up Amnesty International.
Yeah.
And I says, man, so Left's curiosity, Left's involvement is with a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We do art, we doing poetry, spoken word, you know.
Yeah.
I actually bought a couple pieces, some art pieces. But
I was admiring a few people that, a few people that you follow, and what they follow, because it's ripple effects and how we all connected.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not shy to sit down here and be like, oh, well, talking to you last week, I ended up opening the door with this, that, and this, or, you know what I'm saying? Man, look, it's never ending, man. It's these ripple effects, especially when you're good peoples and the energy is there. Say, well, it's like shining in different ways, man. Showing different lights of yourself. You know what I mean? So when I seen the whole poetry thing there and the name, I says, let me ask you about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get a lot of inspiration from poetry.
Yes,
you know
yes.
I mean? It's definitely good for the soul.
Right. You have you wrote any books or pages on yourself?
Books right now, I'm writing. I started to write an autobiography.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. Yeah.
All right.
Like 8 pages in. So y'all look
Is
up for
that?
I was kind of being sketchy. I was being this sketchy because what I might want to just do is just like an audio book.
Okay.
Do like an audio book and do the whole autobiography, like being narrated, and
I know you'll burn that shit down, man. Anything you touch is gonna fly. It's gonna be flame.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's what we shoot for.
Within the Staterazed movement, just like with touch and base, with you, it's like a train, and it's like you're it. You know what I'm saying? So, what we want to do is welcome you to the roundtable dialogue. This is the Eye to Eye segment, everybody, where, you know, we're out here. We could be in the flesh anywhere, but wherever we are, you're gonna catch the real, and you're gonna see it for what it is. You know what I mean? And we're blessed to have Left on the show today. What I wanna ask you is if you down to co-host a show where the dialogue with the round table is there. It's a more broader conversation, and where we could really pick apart the angles and the details for the issues that we have out here in society. Would you be up for that?
Always. Somebody count me in, man.
That's what it is. It's a co-host show, man. And to think that, what podcast do you see where I could sit here today and talk to you, and then tomorrow we're both sitting here talking to somebody else and working our way through the network, through the chains. You know what I'm saying? And there has to be these walls where people that have, finances, resource.
You know what's crazy? Because I don't watch too many podcasts.
Right.
You know what I mean? But from what I've seen as far as podcasts go, this is one of the first ones that I recall that's doing it for a positive cause. You know,
everything 100% positive cause, right?
Is every other podcast is more or less like, you know, you're interviewing an artist, but you're more or less interesting in his story and what he has to say or whatever. But there's no intellect. You know what I'm saying? Mixed in it. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of already see the originality and the platform that this podcast is going to create. So, you know,
that's right. That's the angle.
Y'all for that, man.
That's the angle. Thank you. Thank you for the salute. And that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all for.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to acknowledge eye to eye who's who out here and salute each other. That's what we need to be doing more now than ever before, is this salute. And it takes, like I was talking to somebody not too long ago, it takes sometimes being in a position of vulnerability, right? But the one thing that you have on your side is motherfucker can never say
that one eye said one thing and the other eye said some other shit, and the real wasn't transparent and the real wasn't on the table. Whatever's whatever. Motherfucker want to be dirty. We could deal with that on another page. But for the moment and for the moment that we hold, we grasp and value the moment. The powers in the moment of choice and decision. And if in that choice we can grasp that, I ain't worrying about no superficial shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I know the power and loyalty, man. You know what I mean? And the belief, I don't want to say faith, the belief in oneself, you know. So the state race session is, you know, we're tapped in, and thank you for that, you know, acknowledgement and shit. What's important for us is to make sure we connect with the artists, because that is a part of who you are, you know, and what you're doing. But we also know the real also is that we all woke up someplace else, and we wake up someplace else every fucking day, you know. And
you gotta be ready to wear whatever hat you need to wear that day. You know what I mean? You have to be a man of many hats. You know what I mean? You can't just be one-sided. You can't put all the eggs in one basket. You understand what I'm saying? If you're a hustler, or if you know, you go hard on the grind, you definitely know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So one day you might wear one hat, the other day you might wear a different hat. But at the end of the day, I think I've
given up my hats, man. That's my shit. I hate when people call me for a hat I used to wear. I'd be like, man, look, man, but you know what? I acknowledge this hat of love and clarity, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
What you gotta understand is that one hat that you wear.
Of course, I know.
Exactly. That's a big ass hat.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It ain't a regular hat.
Yeah,
you know
man.
Sometimes you don't gotta change the hat.
Yeah.
One hat. You know what I mean?
That's kind of like what the fuck it is, man.
12 purposes.
Yeah, like we just added on. We just added on to some shit. You know, added on to a hat.
Bro. Yeah,
the journey of being able to extend love and kindness, man. This is like when you can harness that ability, and you see the power in it. And I don't mean from this being a donator. I mean, there are ripple effects that happen, and in my mind, we're all living in prophesized time, so we're all choosing a side whether we like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna get worse than what it is before it gets better, right? And for people to be able to connect and just converse and identify who's who, it's like saying, what if slavery never fucking happened? Let's just say when America opened its doors, all foreigners had this straight equal opportunity. We would have been past the mulatto stages of everything, who's who mixed up. Everyone would have their place of accomplishment and success and freedom. You know, anything against that there is just fucking humane. You know, and we've seen and we know the history and the supremacy in which this country was built, and the prejudices and the racism, and there's nothing else to fucking talk about. It's about getting shit done. I know white people that are just as passionate about getting shit done as black people. Why? They don't understand they don't understand the fucking the problem, why it is just like, you know what I'm saying? And they're wrapped up in it in a way that says, well, how can I facilitate some change? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know this shit. And you got some people that you got some people from Europe or European background that didn't know this, but they're saying, how the fuck can I get up and do this? We all share the same backyards. We all live the same way because of the American fabric. So everybody's gonna enjoy a Sunday with their yard and their kids running and playing and everybody in the pool and having a barbecue. Everybody's entitled to that shit. Everybody's entitled to a day off, to have work, to know your fridge and your cabinets are full. You know what I'm saying? And this is the land of supposedly all the resources of the world. This is the richest country and all this other shit. Nah, man, shit gotta change. So the state raise, we picked up this campaign to start at the bottom with the state raise, and then to say state raise, let's level this shit. Let's level this state and bring forth a more unified state as men. And we play parts in these communities too. This is where I wanted to say also, the hip hop community and the men of the hip hop culture, play so much part in this shit. Hip hop music has preserved us.
Yeah.
It's preserved us and the children and children of people that came before us, you know what I'm saying, in the music, in the pulse of this music. If we can use this as a vehicle, be who the fuck we are, industrializing, you know, fuck being an entrepreneur, man. Like, you know, to have your own foundation, there's no problem with it. So from that neighborhood over there, this neighborhood over here, let's start facilitating the change together. We support their brands, they support our brands. It starts simple shit like that. You know, for every business that started over here facilitates a business started over there. And you sit down and counsel about this shit. So I came up with a council title name for you know, being able to be the voice of the other person, you know what I'm saying, and being able to step out like that. But any of us at any given time could give a title to it and say, all right, well, this is the PLATY and this is what we do, you know. So earlier we were talking, y'all probably not gonna hear this on this recording, but Left was pointing out the corporation side of things and the business. We were talking about where businesses start within the communities, you know, and it has to be this exchange of resource. So on that angle there, as long as there's this exchange of resource, then what the fuck? Exactly. You know, it has to happen. Yeah,
it's just a lot of people aren't aware. They're not familiar with the whole process. So, and as easy, as simple as it is, you know what I mean? A lot of the things in this world need to be simplified. You know, a lot of people, you know, live a little too difficult, you know what I'm saying? If you simplify things and trust the process, you definitely, because there's no way why we can't share resources within ourselves and help, you know, support each other's businesses, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's one my thing I've been running. The reason I started a brand was because of that, because I felt like I didn't want to support the, you know what I mean, other brands and these other people. They got money already.
Right.
You know what I mean? I support everything and everybody does.
And big ups on the brand too, Finito, y'all. That's
lifestyle.com, man. I'll go check it out, you know. We got
see
everything.
The quality, see the labor involved, man.
See what it is.
Tight work, man.
We putting in, you know, quality over everything, you know what I mean? Yep,
definitely. I want to make sure the people know that this is an open door. This is an open door. You know, we do have call-ins. Where's that thing at? I'm thinking this is my whip. The flyer thing.
Oh yeah.
Was there a number on there? I was supposed to have ran that fucking number. There was a number on that one? I didn't give you the other one?
This one?
Yeah, 305-367 8485, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is the beginning of a lot of good things. I was very humbled to sit down with another warrior like yourself, man. Rose from the years of incarceration and shit like that. Recently, Cos Marti, and his story is in its own way very multi-dimensional, and you know, been through the sauce on his end too. He's been invited to a roundtable dialogue. He's done, you know, we sat down eye to eye, and I explained to him, you know, the warriors are out here, you know, we're ready on the front lines of this economic change, you know what I'm saying, and this community change, and he's lending his support to us as well, you know, and he, Cos Marti, man, up there in NY, doing his thing, you know, so he started the workout gyms, the workout gyms, and he has a 0 recidivism rate, and he hires nothing but people coming home as trainers and shit like that, and you know, he's looking forward to this, you know what I'm saying, so salute, you know, and we'll definitely be together at that round table, and I want to just make sure we put that out there, because my thing is to sit down and to make it accessible for people like yourself, and people coming home like fresh off the, you know what I mean, down in the South, it's fresh off the chain gang, whatever you want, however you want to call it. You got access, you have a voice. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the hood is talking about, whatever the neighborhood is talking about, whatever your community is talking about, let's make the sacrifice. You see how it happens. Step out, left stepped out, and to be able to just zero in and see the angles and how we can start the process in this change. Because with this is the sit down, what you're gonna hear more of it, but is to sit down and say, man, who can we contact over here that has to do with, the poverty issue? You know what I'm saying? Who's the mayor over here? Who's the person that's supposed to be in charge of this shit here? You know what I mean? And it's identifying issues. Like we said, properties that could be transformed when people come home. They're abandoned properties now, but properties that could be transformed and be renovated, so when people come home, they have a real place they can get on their feet. Nowhere with pressure, shit on their back.
You gotta dissect these places down to a T, man.
And Left, tapped in on that shit earlier too. You know what I'm saying? The setup and how easy it is. So it means us buying our property back in our community. Stepping back out there and saying, hold on, I got a few dollars, but I can buy this piece, buy this piece, buy this piece, and here comes the change. And so yeah, on the entrepreneurship like that, they got something that's called angel investors. Angel investors, and this is the level where business goes down, and people that control companies when they go public and shit, they hold the property of the businesses, and they control how in which they go public and shit like that. And venture capitalists is at like the top of that chain, and you come out with a great company, you make good money, like your product goes on Shark Tank on TV, because the Shark Tank heads are like angel investors. They have millions of dollars and they do startups. And then what they do is they take your money and your idea, after they refine it and they smooth it for you, they bring it to a venture capitalist, and those are the people with the billions of dollars that control, when your company goes public, and make it really happen. And you have these big fucking startups in Silicon Valleys and all these other type crazy shits, right? So starting to understand that process, I had dug in with somebody, and they were teaching me about money, and they sent me this video on how to understand the way money works and the way business works before it's a dollar. We're talking about the structure, how this shit goes down. And what I want to connect here is that if me and you have a pot of money and we put it together, it's different going to open a barbershop or open a clothing store or investing in a clothing line than creating this company where other people are going to be able to invest in. You know what I'm saying? With that image in sight and in business, you know what I'm saying? And those are the people who own the finances to the people that have stores in your neighborhood. And to do, all those people in the stores will all go to like local money. It'll be local stores, local banks to do their startup. When you start a company, a bank, that's your business title. So the bank is there, everybody's lined up accordingly. So within a community, these banks play a large role. The bank is connected to the venture capitalists. Venture capitalists are sought after by banks. Bring your money over here, Lefty, we got you. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of them things, and that's what has to happen. That's what a change. John Stewart, I seen him when he was having a conversation with Trevor Noah, I believe it was. And John Stewart's the Jewish dude, right? John Stewart, from his perspective, with
his background and his knowledge of things, he was breaking it down. And that's one of the things they were speaking on, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't understand that angle of economics and how structure works within communities with this money, then you're never gonna know. So this is what we need to learn, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely what we need to learn and apply to our squares. Jewels. You know what I'm saying? I don't know shit. It's like, we just sit down with word, and then, you know, off the cam, you know, it's like, motherfucker pull out his phone, motherfucker get the laptop out, like, yo, check this shit out, you know? And it's this communication. You gotta have fun with it, man. And it takes humbling yourself, because like I say, you're gonna be vulnerable. I say that because us as men and everything we've been through, sometimes people see the shit we've been through on our faces. And one lady recently said, only if, you know, or something like, she said, we're glad that black people don't look like what they've been through. She's glad that black people don't look like, or people, you know. And so as men going through this shit, lucky we don't look like what we've been through sometimes. Well, sometimes we do. But yes, listen, but on this end right here, we're gonna conclude this episode, you already know, of the State Raised session, Eye to Eye. This is K-Rob, and I want to make sure everybody that's on this campaign, on this mission, knows that everything's genuine, everything's transparent, everything's on the face, and you're welcome, you know what I'm saying, for this week's segment of the Eye to Eye session in the State Raised. I thank my man, 50 grand, 100 mil, everything, for being able to speak out.
Definitely a positive platform.
Definitely go to Lefty's platforms and let them know what it is.
Y'all can get me on Instagram, Mr. Finito_King-Capikú. Y'all can go on my Spotify, Lefty-Capikú, go on my YouTube, Lefty-Capikú. You already know, GryndHouse is the movement, Candela is the music, Finito Lifestyle is the brand, FinitoLifestyle.com.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it here. Holla at your boy. Choose your path to liberation. There are many paths to liberation. Choose one.